Hey guys, welcome back to Olivia's Blooms. Today we have sort of an exciting and different project. I am going to be filling a brand new GreenStalk with my strawberries. So a few things about this project. I have grown strawberries. This is the first year I've grown them. I grew them in my raised bed and I'll show you what they look like. And they did really well there, but they are spreading like crazy and taking over the bed. And I have a nice big vegetable garden, but I want to maximize every inch. I'm using every inch of it. I want to maximize every inch of it. And so I thought, I have this corner here in my vegetable garden. I'd love to use maybe some vertical growing space to do the strawberries and be able to, one, pick them a little bit easier because they'll be vertical, and two, to mitigate some of their spread all over the place. At least I can control it better in the GreenStalk. So I'm very, very excited to try it. I've never tried it before. It looks super easy to put together. So I have the black original GreenStalk, and what I did was I put it on a level surface. I'll show you up close what I did. And then each one of these tiers in the original GreenStalk takes about a cubic foot of potting soil. So I got, there's 5 tiers, I believe. I got 3 bags of 2 cubic feet of this Fox Farm potting soil. And I'll have a little bit extra, but I'm definitely gonna use it. I've got lots of projects I'm gonna be doing this fall. Now, I was hoping to find a peat-free potting soil, but my local farmers co-op did not have any peat-free options. So this was the next best thing though. It's got mycorrhiza in it and some humic acid. So I think the strawberries will really like this. I'm also gonna be adding, I need to go grab it, some soil acidifier because strawberries and blueberries love acidic soil. So I'll just be sprinkling a little bit of that into as I plant them. First, let me show you the base here, and then we will fill it up. Oh, one other thing real quick too. So we are here in mid-October, it's October 20th. So I probably still have a few weeks looking at the forecast to get these strawberries kind of settled in their new home. Ideally, I would have done this probably a few weeks ago just to make sure they're nice and established before any frosts come. Hopefully they'll do okay. They're really well-established plants, so fingers crossed they'll do well, but they should have at least a couple weeks unless something changes in the forecast. So let's get this filled. So as you can see, I have a large stepping stone underneath here that I'm going to use as the base for my GreenStalk. I leveled this out so that all sides were nice and level. And you can see it's on a base of mulch. So as this mulch degrades over time, I'm probably gonna have to adjust this, but for now, this is the best I'm gonna be able to do. So I'm setting my base, making sure that all corners are on the block. And that's going to be the bottom layer of the GreenStalk. All right, I took my sweatshirt off. It's getting warm out here. It's pretty windy today, so hopefully you can hear me all right. But I'm gonna fill this with the potting soil, add a little bit of my soil acidifier, and then we'll put the first few strawberries in and give it a water. Here are my strawberries, and as you can see, again, they're doing fantastic. Now, this isn't necessarily the best time to be replanting them. They're still fruiting, they're still flowering. You could wait until they're dormant, but I wanted to try some daffodils and potentially even try overwintering some ranunculus and dahlias in this bed with some frost cover as an experiment. So I'm gonna try and get these out now and give them lots of water, lots of care and attention, and hope that they still do okay. Okay, so I'm going to try and use my mini pitchfork first, just to see if I can gently pry these out. And I still have some strawberries on here, so I might have to snack on those as I go along. But what I'm gonna do is try and go down to the base of the plant and just gently pry them out. You know, at this stage, it's hard to even tell them apart, but I'm hoping as we sort of pry them out, they'll naturally split. So, all right, I think I pried this plant out enough that I can loosen it. And it was really actually multiple plants that have grown together, which is fine. So I'm gonna call that one. You can see the strawberries hanging off of there. Let me show you this. This baby is still attached. It's a great opportunity to put these in next door pockets. And actually, you don't want to separate them from the mother plant. They grow best if you leave them attached, and they naturally die off from the mother plant, which is something interesting that I learned from another YouTuber, and I thought I'd share with you guys. So I'm just going to tuck these in. And you know what? Before I put any more strawberries in here, I'm going to add on the water reservoir. This goes in between each layer. And so you just settle it. So if you can see right here, there's a little hole, and that's where the water comes through. Let me make sure I have the right one on the bottom. Okay. So you're just going to settle this right there on the top. And your plants can grow underneath this, but this is how the water gets to each plant. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up each of these holes you can see right here with a pocket. And that's how the plants get their water. So really neat system that lots of people love using, so I'm really excited to try it. All right, I'm going to put you guys on the tripod here so you can watch me fill this up. All right, there's my first layer. Now, the instructions are to water this layer in. Even though the system's gonna be from here on out watered from the top, you wanna water in the plants first thing just to make sure they are nice and soaked through while they're getting used to their new environment. Look at how healthy and beautiful these plants are. The GreenStalk directions also recommend putting the biggest plants on the bottom, so that's what I'm trying to do, so that the smallest plants are on the top. They'll get equal lighting. And so I'm gonna water these in, and I used the reservoir just to make sure that I left enough room in the middle as a measure, but I'm gonna have to rinse this out because you can see it got a little dirty, which is fine. So let me go grab the hose and we'll get these watered in, and then we can work on the next levels. So GreenStalk recommends putting all the tiers together and then stacking them. So to make this go quick and easy, I'm going to do exactly that. I have the remaining 4 tiers out here, and assembly line style, I'm gonna fill them with soil acidifier, plant the strawberries, and then we'll stack them together in the end and see how it looks. All right, let's finish up this project. here's a closer look pre-stack. And that was pretty simple and easy to do. Now I can see why they recommend you fill these first and then stack them. At least for me, this will enable me to, I tried to put all of the biggest ones together so that I can figure out which tier should go on the bottom and which tier should go on the top. So these are my smallest plants here. These are gonna go on the top. This one does not have a reservoir because the top reservoir is over there. And I still have a ton of strawberry plants and I am kind of amazed. So I started this year with 16 transplants, and I'll tell you the variety after I stack them. Here they are trying to grow in the landscape. But I have a ton that I dug up that I just didn't have room for. So 5 tiers, 6 plants in each. My 16 plants easily turned into 30 plus. Extremely prolific. So what I'm gonna do is probably tuck these back into the bed, these extra strawberry plants, and just save them for a little bit longer. That way, if one of these or several of these die, I can replace them. But I'm gonna go ahead and get these stacked. Hopefully they're not too heavy now that they're filled with soil, wet soil and plants, but I'm gonna do my best. And let's see how easy this is to stack and how it looks when it's done. Gonna make sure this bottom tier is nice, sturdy on the base before I stack the rest on top. Yep, feels pretty sturdy. This is probably a job for 2 people, but I'm on my own today, so we're gonna see if we can make it work. Oh yeah, that's actually not too heavy. I'm gently moving it around just to untuck any leaves that might have gotten caught underneath. All right, that was pretty easy. Okay, here she is in all her glory, and I can't believe, but it's about as tall as I am. And you know, we do have it up off the ground, and all that makes it a tiny bit more wobbly. I like that the bottom layer is up because it will enable it to get sunshine. We do have a fence down at the bottom, and make it just a little bit easier to harvest off that bottom tier. Now, I did end up having my husband help me stack this just because the plants were so large for a couple of levels that I couldn't snap the middle parts without someone there to make sure that those were open. So if you are doing smaller plants or seeds, it's probably going to be a lot easier to stack than these very mature strawberry plants, but I'm still really happy I did this. Now, let me give you a little bit of a closer look, but first let's do the final step. This is the top, and it's just the water reservoir that you put water in. I believe you can buy some accessories like a cap if you want, and you can even buy a self-watering system. But I don't mind having to fill this up once every few days. What I like about this too is I can use water from my rain barrel. So I'm gonna go ahead and just slip this over the top and fill it up with water. And the water is going to flow down and water each of the plants. So I'll make sure after I water it that the bottom ones have gotten their fill. Okay, here's a closer look. My husband and I did notice that the bottom settled a little bit with the weight, so we did prop a few more rocks and wood underneath just to get it a little more level, but it feels pretty sturdy. Now, I did accidentally rip out a plant here, but thankfully I have all those extras, so I'm gonna go through and clean up some of these dead leaves here, make sure these all are nice and watered in. But I can tell already that this is gonna be so much easier to harvest these strawberries. Maybe I can even get my kids to come out here and pick some. I'll have to make sure that the back here is getting enough sun. If not, I'll have to try and rotate these. It does come, another accessory you can get is a rotating base, so we'll see how these do. If I really need to be rotating it regularly, I might ask for one of those bases for my birthday or the next holiday. But overall, I'm really happy with how this turned out. And I'll keep you guys updated on the progress of these plants and how they did with their transplant. I am now going to, while I have the soil acidifier out, go do a fall acidification of my blueberries and hydrangeas. But I hope you guys had as much fun planting these strawberries and gardening with me today as I did. What am I trying to say? Oh.